Welcome, welcome, boys. Alright, as promised, my last Yeet Cannon video, I'm going to go ahead and show this gun that I bought off a couple years ago. I've been wanting one for a long time, decades. But they don't make too many of these things. It's not like they are continuously in production, like a 1911 or anything. They make these things in batches, like 9 a year or something like that. Very hard to come by. They are very expensive. I had to pay... I don't remember what I paid for this thing. Was it $1,200 or $1,400? Or was it $2,200 or $2,400? I don't remember. It was either $1,200 or $1,400, or $2,200 or $2,400. And my memory's kind of bad because it's been a hot minute and I don't have a receipt. But anyway, you may have guessed what's in here by these prices. That is the H&K Mark 23, which is a polymer frame with a steel slide, chrome-lined barrel, and it's a very strong has polygonal rifling, a threaded barrel, with an O-ring in here for increased accuracy. So this is one of the more accurate semi-automatic pistols, because whereas a revolver, barrel doesn't move. This thing, you also don't have a problem of your barrel not setting exactly where it was in the slide here before you fire your round downrange. So it can be fired in single action or double action. Single action or double action. .12-round mag, comes with 2 of them. And as you see, this is chambered in .45. These are dummy rounds I have in here. For my dry firing practices. Has the decocker, and in true 1911 style, you can carry cocked and locked. This assembly is not unlike the 1911. As you can see, you have this bar here that protrudes from one side of the frame to the other. So I've always wanted one of these things, as this was Solid Snake's gun in Metal Gear Solid, and also Raiden's in Metal Gear Solid 2. But nobody likes that guy. Did come with some literature. Some very high quality literature, I might add. It's got color, nice shiny gloss, Some other literature I don't bother reading. I keep the thing earplugs in case I ever decide to go to the range one day and actually shoot this thing. But for funsies, I also did bring my 1911 out, as that is the only other .45 caliber I own. Most of my guns, I believe, are 9mm. And then what after that? Maybe .357. All my revolvers are in .357. And then, man, I got a lot of guns that are in 9. But only 2 that are in .45. And so, though the 1911 is a pretty big gun, it is nothing compared to this behemoth. This thing is gigantic. I mean, it's the size of a Desert Eagle. But it fires a .45. Now, if there's anything wrong with .45, I'm a big fan of .45. In fact, people ask, why do you carry a .45? Why do you carry such a big caliber? Because they don't make a .46. If they did, I'd carry that. But as you can see here, it's got this very elegantly shaped slide here. Very polygonal. Whereas the 1911's very slim and round. Product of its time. As is this thing. As it's a decades-old design by now. This 100-plus-year-old design. You know, but they are still kind of, you know, I guess this they've updated a little to be slightly more modern with my ambidextrous safety. You know, this has the ambi safety on it. Hammer, single action only. This, of course, is also hammer fired, double and single action. My next HK, since this is now the the crown jewel, the pinnacle, the top of the line, the flagship Gucci gun. My next HK will be just a USP in .45, of course. They have several different versions. USP Tactical, and then I think they have just like a base model regular. Because I do believe they have some that have decocker, but some that don't. Some are only the cocked and locked safety, and some that are not, or something. They're different configurations, but you know, I'll probably buy some more one day. But always wanted one of these. And then when I've been trying to get one for years. Like I said, they're so hard to find. And then I bought this one not too long after I started my previous job. I was making that bank, and then one of these was for sale. Cabela's had one. That's where I was going to buy it. But they have this problem answering their phone. So when I called to ask, hey, is that gun still there? Because your website shows up. I want to drive there in case that thing's inaccurate. They didn't answer the phone. So I found one on Gunbroker, the only other one there was, and bought that one. And here it is. So I just thought I'd take you on a little video tour of my H&K Mark 23. I've always wanted one of these. Now that I have it, that is definitely crossed off the bucket list. But it is an awesome gun to hold. It is just big. Imagine it would be intimidating if you have this thing pointed at you. You know, you're on the business end of this thing. But it does feel quite powerful and does fill out the hands quite well. Like, you know, it fits my hand perfectly. I think this is a fantastic gun. Not very practical, of course. Like, you don't want to carry this thing, you know, as your daily when you're out and about, which is why I tend to carry much smaller ones. If I'm just driving to the car and going somewhere, I usually use a Compact 9 or that small snub-nose 357 if I'm in the truck. But if I go on some sort of family event or something, then I'll usually carry a full-size gun on me, either my full-size 357 or P99 or PPQ or something. Or sometimes the 1911. Sometimes I break out old reliable, but usually the 1911 just sits by my my nightstand. And then my 357's there as a backup. So, alrighty. We'll conclude this video then. I've rambled on long enough. But if you're a fan of this gun, and you've watched every other video out there of people showing this thing off, well, here's another one for you. If you're looking into getting one, I'm not sure if they still even make them anymore, if they've finally discontinued it, or if they've only discontinued it again until they make another batch of them. But if you have the chance to get one, you've always wanted one. There's no reason not to get one. Because I did not have any buyer's remorse when I spent whatever the amount I spent was on this thing. But my memory's bad, boys. I can't remember if it was just over 1,000 or if it was a little over 2,000. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't remember, but either way, that was a pretty pricey gun. It's definitely the most expensive gun I own now. Handgun or otherwise. I've paid more for this handgun than I have my rifles. And I think the only other handgun that even came close to this in terms of price was my 357 Magnum Smith & Wesson Model 686 Plus. Which, since I'm mentioning it, I do keep that one close by too when I'm sitting on the couch. You know, in case somebody comes in and gives me the business. But this thing was like 900 and some odd bucks I paid for it back in like 2012, I think. Had this thing since then. Rather like this one too, because this is a pretty popular gun. 686 Plus. And then the plus, of course, means you get 7 rounds instead of 6. But you see, this, I don't know, a lot of bad guys and or just people in movies tend to use this gun a lot, I've noticed. Like I can spot it from a mile away, especially with this full-length, meaty barrel right here. I know when I see it, but I can recall off memory that Mr. Creedy in V for Vendetta uses this gun. Good choice, nice gun. I recommend it. Alright, boys. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.